I spent 3 hours on my live finding the most controversial Reddit stories for you. Am I the a-hole for not inviting trans friends, hitting my girlfriend when she told me that she's glad my sister died, divorcing my wife after she got an abortion? And we're gonna decide if they're a-holes or not. You were 16 or 17 and your girlfriend 21 or 22. She started calling Mindy a manipulative bitch. She had an affair with me while they were married. Grab some popcorn and get ready to drop who you think are the a-holes in the comments. Am I the a-hole for not inviting trans friend to boys night? So I, 23 male, have big group of friends that have been together since primary school, and we have stuck by each other all throughout school and even during college. And we get 2-3 times a week to go to the pub, play video games, or even go on hikes. J, 23 male, K, 23 male, H, 22 male, and 22 male. So one of our friends, Angie, not her real name for obvious reasons, transitioned from male to female over last year. And before that, pre-transition, my boys and I would occasionally invite her to boys night. But after she became who she was meant to be, the way she should have always been, and we stopped inviting her. The boys and I decided that we no longer felt comfortable with her attending our boys nights, as we felt it necessary that we have a boys only space. Angie wasn't even really a part of the group pre-transition. She just was at school with us, so we occasionally invited her. We also figured this would give her gender euphoria, and inviting her to a boys event might cause dysphoria, and we all stand by our decision. But anyways, Angie would see our stories of us hanging out, and once came up to me when I was getting takeout for my boyfriend and myself and asked why she wasn't being invited to boys nights anymore. And I said, because you're not a boy, we're just trying to support you. She got upset and left the restaurant. Later, her sister, who we also went to school with, texted and called me a cold a-hole. And perhaps I was, but I'm conflicted. I thought we were doing the right thing. For the sake of argument, let's take out the transgender factor. If it's just some guy who was not being invited to boys night, at the end of the day, they get to choose whoever gets to be there or not, especially the host. If I'm like, I'm gonna have a boys night, I'm gonna invite who my boys are, and then someone who I'm not very close with and I don't like coming over to my house is like, hey, why didn't you invite me? I'm gonna be like, because I didn't fucking want to. Now with this in the equation, they're not inviting this person because they're like, I hate trans people. They're inviting this person because they're like, hey, this is boys night and you are not a boy, which is respectful. I think that's very respectful for them to be like, hey, we accept that you're transgender. But since it's boys night, we're only gonna have the boys. I think not the a-hole here. It's not for them to decide what would cause dysphoria. It's not that they're deciding for them. It's just that they're saying this is a precaution that we thought of and our intentions weren't malicious, which I could never disagree with. I think intentions are very, very, very important when you're considering if somebody did something wrong, because there's difference between a wrongdoing that had malice backing it versus a wrongdoing that had a good intent behind it. Have a separate boys thing if you want, but sounds like they didn't like her much anyway. I have to disagree with you on that. I'm not picking up on them not really liking her. Maybe someone's gonna watch this and be like, you're fucking transphobic. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm very comfortable in that. So call me what you will, but I'm gonna stick with my guns here and say not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. What does she want? Be viewed as a boy or a girl? As a girl, right? And the party was boys only. You can't have it both ways. Info, do you still hang out with her at mixed gender social outings? Are you actually friends with her? So this is OP. I mean, like I said, we hardly invited her before, but yeah, I mean, sometimes she's my boyfriend's friend's sister. That doesn't seem like a super close correlation. The update, I apologize to Angie. I told her we support, we care for her, and we want the best for her, but boys nights are sacred and they are trans inclusive, as one of the guys is female to male, and we treat him the same. Angie says she understands but has lost most of her friends and just needs support, so we agreed one of the 3 boys nights is just a mates night for everyone. So happy ending? Question mark. This was the vibe I was getting, was that they were super understanding. Assumptions were being made. Everyone's on a different page. But now that everyone's communicated, we're all good to go. Am I the a-hole for hitting my girlfriend when she told me that she's glad my sister died? I, 23 female, and my girlfriend, 28 female, have been together for around 6 to 7 years, I think. So either you were 16 or 17 and your girlfriend was either 21 or 22. Our relationship is very strong and we're very close to each other. We tell each other basically everything. My sister, 26 female, passed away on the 23rd of December. Me and my sister were also very close, but I would also spend time with my girlfriend, the same amount of time for each of them. When she died, I couldn't do anything. I was super depressed and only laid in bed. I took like 2 weeks off of work and I didn't take time to spend time with my girlfriend, which I regret deeply. My girlfriend called me me lazy almost every day, making me even more unmotivated and depressed. When I finally started getting out of bed and doing things like going to work, doing chores, etc., my girlfriend still said that wasn't enough. And then out of nowhere, she said, I'm glad she, my sister, died. You never spend time with me, only her. Now you don't have an excuse not to spend time with me. I don't know what pushed her to say that. It was completely unrelated to what we were talking about before, so I slapped her and started yelling at her. She started crying and screaming and telling me I was a terrible person for abusing her, and I do feel terrible because I should have never hit her. But what she said just made me so angry and I couldn't stop myself. She told me to get out of the house and go to my parents' house, even though I literally own the house we both live in. I pay the bills on it, she doesn't. But I did leave and I'm staying with my mom now. It hurts to be here because the room I'm staying in is next to my sister's old room, and I'm just reminded of her whenever I leave my room. My mom and dad said that I shouldn't have hit her, but that it was reasonable of me to get upset. Her parents and her sister have all been texting me on Facebook and Instagram all day, and I've blocked them, but they just use other accounts or tell other family or friends to message me. It's really stressing me out. She made a Facebook post about me being an abuser and how I beat her up. Am I the a-hole for hitting her? I don't know what to do in this situation now. I don't know if this means that we're broken up now. Opinions, please. Opinion number 1, your girlfriend is an awful person. Break up with her. I don't even have to explain that. That's very evident. I think the verdict that I'm gonna go with on this is everyone sucks here. Because no matter what, I don't think it's an appropriate nor a productive way to deal with your significant other by hitting them. I don't care if it's girl hitting guy, girl hitting girl, guy hitting girl, any variation in between and around, not okay. Did she probably deserve it a little bit? Yes. Yeah, she's an awful person. Just because she deserves it doesn't mean you should do it. What you should have done was break up with her on the spot, tell her to get out of the house. Crazy that you're letting her stay in the house that you're paying for and paying the bills for. You probably screwed yourself a little bit with the hitting because after you kick her out, she's probably going to try to file a police report and do all that. So let me get this straight. You were 16, 17, and she was 22, 23 when you started dating, and she berated you and insulted you for being depressed when your sister, whom you were extremely close to, died. And you're the sole breadwinner and pay all the bills, but she felt entitled to making you leave the home. And she told you she's happy someone you cared and loved died because she thinks you could only spend time with her. There's definitely an abuser here, and it's not you. Reactive abuse is what this is. That's when you're abused to the point you react like this to your abuser. You need to kick her out and go no contact completely. You've been groomed and she is a parasite. Okay, I sent this text to her and I want to know what you guys think about it. Is it good for this? Vicky, our relationship is over and I want you out of my house by tomorrow. I want you gone. I'm sorry if this comes across as mean, but this is the way it is. I've thought about this and what you said, and I don't want to be with you anymore. I think about this and what you said even after I left. It hurt that you could say that straight to my face and not even care. I'm sorry for hitting you earlier. I didn't know what else to do and I was angry. And I'm sure you'll... Oh no. She just put in writing that she abused this person. I'm not saying that she should get away with it, but what I am saying is maybe we should be a little better at getting away with it if we can. Is it a terrible thing to say, you guys? Probably a little bit. I'm sorry for hitting you earlier. I didn't know what else to do and I was angry. And I'm sure you'll be fine alone. You're a mature, independent, intelligent woman and I'm sure you'll find someone else. I'm just not the person for you and I can't be with you when you're so disrespectful to Isla. She's deceased and can't even defend herself. I hope you find someone who can put up with this behavior because I can't. You have 24 hours to pack your things. Here's what could potentially happen. This person sounds batshit crazy. She reads this text message, gets mad, number 1, breaks shit in your house. Number 2, decides maybe I could try to figure out legally if I have squatters' rights. And she immediately goes and changes the locks. Number 3, you literally put in writing that you hit this woman. I'm sure the courts are not gonna ooh, guys, what counts as like cohabitation? I'm getting a bad feeling, guys. This girl is crazy enough to try to pull this shit. If OP would have just gone in person, said these things, and just been like, I'm gonna stay the night. I'm bringing a friend who I feel like can help protect me. But like tomorrow we're packing up your shit and you're leaving and I'm in the house to be able to make sure that happens. Oh man, I think she fucked herself. I really do. I live in Ireland, so the age of consent is 16 here. It's socially acceptable here, at least in my area, for 16-year-olds to be dating people older than them. Just because it's legal and socially acceptable doesn't mean we should. I've been told all my life that it's okay. My mom was 16 and my father was 29 when they started dating. They told me it was fine. This girl was screwed from the start. What? Am I the a-hole for divorcing my wife after she got an abortion? So we got a 27 male and a 27 female. Me and my wife have been together for 4.5 years and married for 2. We've discussed kids before marriage and both agreed that we wanted kids. A couple weeks after we got married, we started trying for a baby and she got pregnant, but was having doubts about kids at the time. We discussed it a bit and she said she didn't feel ready yet. I didn't push back and let her make that decision since she's the one who's pregnant. 3 weeks ago, she got pregnant again. I was excited, but she still wasn't sure. She said she wanted to wait a little longer, and I tried asking her for a timeline, but she just said that when she feels ready, she'd let me know. I asked her if she still wants kids at all, and she gave me a non-answer where she said she doesn't know if she wants kids anymore and wouldn't elaborate. I didn't want to pressure her to do anything, but I told her that I want to have kids and that I need to rethink our relationship if this is the route she wants to go. She got the abortion, and I started the divorce proceedings a few weeks later. Some of our mutuals are saying I was wrong to separate because of this, and she's called me a few times sobbing. I really want to be with her, but having kids and starting a family is really important to me, and it feels like she's been too unsure and unclear with what she wants and has been stringing me along in the process. Edit, sorry, I should have clarified that the second time she got pregnant, we weren't actively trying because she hadn't said she's ready after the first abortion. Edit 2, I'm 100% pro-choice and would never want anyone to be forced to give birth. She's not killing anyone, simply terminating a pregnancy. Also, we're Canadian and a medical abortion pill is readily available in our province. The title is clickbait. The real title of this should be, am I the a-hole for divorcing my wife because she's unsure if she wants kids? If we're just blanket statementing the answer to that question, I think you have to go with not the a-hole. If for some reason things change and a family is that important to you, I think a divorce is 100% merited. I think he owes it to his wife to make some sort of ultimatum first. Hey, we need to sit down, talk through this, and lay everything out on the table right now because kids are important to me and I need to figure out, like, what's your holdup here? Do you not actually want kids and you're afraid to tell me because you're gonna lose me? Do you want kids but you're more afraid about what it'll do to your body? What's going on here? Either we lay this out right now or right after this conversation, I'm going to my lawyer and setting up divorce papers. It doesn't seem like they both did a great job about communicating it better. And I think you're the a-hole for that. When you get married to someone, you should do literally everything and anything you can think of to make it work. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. I don't think he tried that hard to really understand, like, where is this coming from? So in that way, OP is the a-hole here. I feel like he's just kind of giving up. That's a cowardly thing to do in my eyes. Am I the a-hole? My best friend's wife told him that she had an affair with me. I, 35 male, have been married to my wife, 35 female, for 8 years. We have 2 wonderful children. But this is about my friend Josh, 35 male, and his wife Mary, 34 female. I met Josh during my freshman year of college, and we have been friends ever since. We have always shared our love for tech, and he is always my go-to guy when I need someone to talk to. Josh started dating Mary 5 years ago. Let's say Mary has a very different set of morals than my wife or me. She is very loud, manipulative, and just craves attention. Josh and Mary have been dating on and off for 4 years. They broke up often, but somehow always ended up together after a few months. Mary is always the one who breaks up with Josh and then takes him back. I also know that Mary cheated on Josh at least with 2 guys when they were dating, but somehow convinced him that he was not putting enough effort into the relationship. Josh always blames himself for Mary not being happy. My wife also knows about all of this and has always kept her distance from Mary. However, we do meet her often during parties with friends. Josh and Mary got married last year. Last month, Josh found out that Mary was cheating on him again and had an affair with one of her coworkers. Josh was completely broken and stayed at our place for a week before going back and confronting Mary and kicking her out of the house. Josh bought the house before marriage and hence he had to get the cops involved to kick her out. From what we know, Mary moved back to her parents' house. I had been helping Josh through the process and he filed for divorce last week. Last Saturday, Mary came to Josh's house to collect her stuff along with her dad. I had advised Josh to get out of the house when they came, but he wanted to make sure she did not take anything that did not belong to her. During her visit, Josh got into a fight with Mary and Mary told Josh that she had an affair with me while they were married and we used to do it in their bedroom. This is all 100% false. I have always known that Mary was trouble and kept my distance from her. I feel like she is trying to hurt Josh by saying this. After that incident, Josh got extremely agitated and came to our house. I saw he was distressed and knew something was wrong. As I opened the door, he started cursing at me and accusing me of sleeping with Mary. Luckily, the kids were not home, but my wife and I were there and we were both shocked by what he was saying. He tried to punch me, but luckily he hit my shoulder and I was able to wrestle him on the ground and calm him down. I kept on telling him that what Mary told him was completely false and that I had never spent want a single minute with her alone in my life. My wife threatened to call the cops and he left. After he left, my wife was completely inconsolable. It took me hours to calm her down and convince her that Mary was manipulating Josh. I work from home and rarely leave my house without my wife or kids. I think she believes me, but she has been different for the last 4 days. Josh told a lot of my close friends that I was having an affair with Mary. He is not taking my calls or my wife's calls. My wife tried to call Mary, but she was also not taking our calls. All my friends, including Josh, think that I am the biggest a-hole for getting involved with his fucking wife. I have no idea how to convince anyone that this is false. I am just so frustrated. Can someone please give me advice on what I can do next? Does Josh really sound like a good friend? I want to start there. Does Josh sound like somebody that you should be good friends with? Don't get me wrong, as somebody who has had a very poor taste in women, my taste in women, maybe not fantastic by any means, but it's not let the girl cheat on me multiple times bad. I think that also bleeds into a little bit saying like who you are. I think that says a lot about how you view relationships and the type of person that you are. What does it say about somebody who gets cheated on by a woman 3 times, and then when that woman says that she slept with your good friend who you trust, and you trust her over the good friend? I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say he probably is a shitty friend to begin with. We're gonna go with not the a-hole on this. Honestly, man, your number one priority should be your wife right now. Like, fuck Josh, fuck your other friends. Go to your wife and be like, what do I gotta prove to you that this is completely and utterly false? That should be priority numero uno. We're gonna find a date, time, and place that she claims that we slept together, and I'm gonna prove that wrong. Or we're gonna get her to admit to it. Consult with a lawyer, ask if you have a case to sue Mary for defamation. I'm serious. She's telling lies you should be able to prove are false, and she's doing measurable damage to your life and reputation. If a lawyer thinks you have a case, you should file ASAP. First of all, thanks to you/addangerous1243 and everyone who suggested that we should file for defamation. I just kept on thinking in my head how I could get Mary to tell the truth and convince Josh that I had completely forgotten the legal route. I was not able to update as the lawyers had told us not to say anything until we got a confession from Mary. After posting on Reddit, my wife and I spent a few hours at night reading through all the comments. We immediately decided to explore whether we could sue Mary for defamation. Some of you suggested that I should take a polygraph test. I asked my wife if we could find a place for that, and she smiled. She said she does not doubt me one bit, but we can't let people have any doubt that I had an affair with Mary. Our kids are friends with their kids, and we can't live with them thinking I had an affair with Mary. She just wants us to be strong and solve the issue as soon as possible. In the morning, we messaged my wife's mother's friend, who is a very experienced attorney. We called her based on the time she gave us in the morning and explained the issue. She said that we should pursue the legal route, but she does not handle such cases, and gave us the contact of another attorney in her firm and set up a meeting with her at noon. We went to visit her and discuss the issue. The lawyer told us that we could sue Mary as she had made false accusations, and there is a precedent of considering what she said as slander, as it attacked my character, and we can prove emotional distress. However, she told us that a defamation lawsuit is a very long and expensive process and may take several years. She told us Mary has a weak hand and she will not want to go to court. Hence, we should give her a way out by telling her to give in writing that what she said was false. Moreover, as she said the false statement to Josh, we would need Josh to state what she said. I won't go into details here, but might post it in the comments later on. However, we came up with a plan for sending her a letter of intent to sue for defamation. The attorney worked on this, and we got notified that Mary received the letter on Friday morning at her parents' place. The letter told her we would sue her by the end of the month if she did not provide any official statement in writing that the statements she had made were false. The letter also told Mary to only communicate via the law firm regarding this matter. As planned, I messaged Josh and told him we had decided to sue Mary for defamation due to the false statements she had made about the affair. We would leave no stone unturned to prove that the allegations were false. Our lawyers will contact you next week, and we hope you cooperate with them and tell them exactly what she said to you. On Saturday morning, as I was cooking breakfast and my wife was sitting with our kids, the doorbell rang. I saw through the Ring camera that it was Josh and Mary standing outside the door. Before I could tell my wife to stay back and not open the door, she bolted towards the door. She opened it and started yelling at Josh. She is 5 foot, nothing tall, but she is scary when she is angry. She just started calling him names and saying, how could he destroy our lives when we supported him at his lowest? Josh just kept saying he wanted to talk to me and kept repeating that. He looked down. My wife just kept on yelling at him and telling him to get lost. Mary started talking, then saying she was sorry for what she said. Josh was abusing her as she was packing, and she just said that to hurt him. She just kept on saying that Josh is such an idiot and has created such a big mess. My wife turned to her and told her that she better find a good lawyer to reply to our lawyers. At last, she told Josh that if he wanted to meet, go and first make things right for me and then slam the door. Damn. I was watching all this from the breakfast table through Ring camera and realized that we recorded the whole conversation, including Mary confessing her lies. I felt so relieved in the moment knowing that I had proof of her telling the truth. We forwarded the video to our lawyer, and she sent a thumbs up and called us briefly to say that we should meet on Monday to discuss the next steps. After an hour or so, Josh messaged our friends group that he did a terrible thing and spread false statements about me. He is ashamed of it and wants to apologize for it. Mary messaged saying that some statements she made were misconstrued by Josh and that what he told everyone was false. Their relationship is going through rocky times and would thank everyone for giving them privacy and to pray for them. The rest of the day has been great. I've been taking my kids to their Saturday activities and playing with them while my wife was talking on the phone with all my friends' wives and her friends gossiping about what happened. The only thing I told her was to not send the ring video of Josh and me from last week and to not mention Mary's affair to them. I still think it's a private matter that Josh told us in confidence and we should respect that. Everyone was shocked that Josh attacked me physically. Regarding my friends, I made a blanket statement that they all hate me in the last post, but in reality, 4 of my friends called me during this week to ask me what was going on. They told me they knew how crazy Mary was and asked me how they could support me. One of the friends was the one that Josh had told. He told me that Josh told him that Mary had an affair with me and he had filed for divorce. He conveniently left out the part about her cheating on her coworker. I don't think anyone apart from my wife and I know the whole story. He knows at least 2 of the other friends Josh called and said the same. Due to this, the gossip started spreading that they were divorcing because of me, and most of my friends were just waiting on the sidelines instead of extending support to me. However, I think I learned who are the people that really got my back in need. About Josh, we still plan to file for temporary restraining orders against him and Mary next week. The lawyer said we should be able to get it for Josh as there is clear evidence of danger, but Mary might be a long shot. We will see what to do from there. As for our friendship, it's done. It ended the minute he decided to punch me instead of at least asking me if it was true. I can't have people like him around my wife and kids. He was a great friend, but my family and their safety have a way higher priority than him. For Mary, I guess she wins. My wife still wants to push to get her to pay our legal fees. We will see what to do on Monday. However, she was able to destroy Josh's support system with one lie. I was helping Josh through the whole divorce process, but he is on his own now. I also do not think many of my friends would be kind to him after the shit he tried to do at my house. I feel bad for him. I know he needs support and professional help. However, I did my part, and I hope he understands what's right for him in the future. Am I the a-hole? My ex-girlfriend told me my current girlfriend sabotaged our relationship. I was in a loving relationship with Julie for the last 4 years. We met through some mutual friends. Julie and I were very compatible in terms of our love for outdoor activities and running. We have very similar lifestyles and supported each other well for the last 4 years. We have also been living together for the last 3 years. We even discussed getting married during the summer. Everything was great, and I was planning to propose to her over the holidays. However, I started to see changes in behavior in Julie around September. She was acting distant and looked stressed. It was quite noticeable, and I was worried. I trust her with all my heart, and I could not imagine she would be cheating on me. However, she did spend more time by herself. Around the same time, Julie's friend Mindy messaged me privately and asked me if I could meet her secretly, as she wanted to tell me something about Julie. Mindy and Julie work together, and I have known Mindy ever since I started dating Julie. I was surprised, but to be honest, I assumed the worst. I met her at a cafe after work. She asked me if things were going okay between Julie and me. She told me that Julie told her that she was planning to leave me soon. This was a total shock to me. I asked her if there was anyone else that Julie was interested in, and she told me no. Julie confided in her that she was not sure about marrying me. She told me that she just had to tell me this as she did not want me to be blindsided. This is a weird thing to just tell someone. If Julie was cheating, it would make sense to have this conversation. But if she's just thinking about breaking up with them, that's something you just let happen. I was devastated. I started putting more effort into making our relationship more exciting and planning more dates, etc. Mindy was also helping me through this time and telling me more about what Julie told her. Eventually, before Thanksgiving, Julie told me that she loved me, but she wanted to take a break for a month to live alone. She said that she just wanted to live alone for a month to make sure she wanted to marry me. I was completely heartbroken. I asked her if she wanted to pursue someone else. She told me that was not the case, and I better not do anything stupid either. I told her that if she is not sure after 4 years that she wants to marry me, then maybe we should just break up. We had a big fight and broke up after a few days. As our lease was ending, we decided to part ways in December. She got a new apartment, and I kept her old apartment and just took her name off the lease. After the breakup, I was feeling very lonely as I was not used to being in the apartment alone. I didn't want to keep on being sad and hence invited a bunch of friends for a New Year's party. I also invited Mindy. We had a good time, and my friends were doing their best to cheer me up. Mindy also mingled with my friends, and it was good. Mindy decided to stay back to help me clean up, and we hooked up that night. I felt guilty, but Mindy did cheer me up. Since then, we have hung out almost daily at my place. I am still sad about Julie, but I won't lie that being with Mindy does make me feel happy. She is sweet and caring. Last Sunday, we woke up and someone was banging on the door. I went to open it, and it was Julie. She looked furious and started yelling at me. She kept on accusing me of cheating on her. I told her I most certainly certainly did not cheat on her, and she was the one who broke up with me. Mindy was also at my apartment. Julie was just angry at both of us. She started calling Mindy a manipulative bitch and told me that Mindy was the one who suggested to her that she should take some time away from me to understand her true feelings. I calmed her down and asked her to explain herself. She told me that ever since our marriage talk, she told Mindy about it, and Mindy kept on asking Julie if she was sure about marrying me. Mindy suggested that Julie take some time to herself to understand her true feelings and that I will understand and give her space. When I said no, Mindy convinced her that I was so controlling that I had not even given her 1 month to herself and convinced her to break up with me. I don't support it, but holy fuck is that big brain. Mindy told me that she did not say any such things and these were all Julie's ideas and she was just there during these conversations. She did tell Julie that she told me about some of the things so that I get a chance to make things right with her over the last few months. That made Julie more angry and she started accusing me of emotionally cheating on her. Julie told me that the last few weeks have made her realize that we were meant to be together, but she now cannot believe I could move on from a 4-year relationship in a week. On one hand, I want to believe Julie, but she broke up with me for no fault of my own. Mindy was there for me when I was down, but now I also doubt her. She suddenly started talking to me out of the blue as we were never really close before and immediately became my support after the breakup, although Julie was her close friend. Am I the a-hole to emotionally cheat on Julie? Should I have told her about Mindy's text? Should I have not moved on from her so quickly even though Julie broke up with me? I was just hurting and Mindy was right there to support me. I think I can comfortably say, no matter what, get rid of Mindy. The only thing that Julie might be in the wrong for is accusing OP of cheating when OP was played like a goddamn fiddle. OP was played harder than Michael Jordan plays basketball. He got walked on. Did OP completely move on from Julie, or is Mindy just kind of a nice rebound? If Mindy is just a nice rebound, and maybe if low-key in his brain he's like, ugh, I'd much rather Julie was here, then I don't think he's the a-hole. But if he was completely able to get over Julie in a week and is now fully invested in Mindy, yeah, probably a little bit the a-hole. Although he did call Mindy his girlfriend, which that's crazy. That's not a girlfriend, bro. That's a rebound. I think everyone just gotta walk away from the situation and take their respective L's. I think you're right, Sammy. I don't think Julie should or has to forgive OP, and I don't think OP should or has to forgive Julie by any means. It's just like, damn, bro, we got fucked over on that. Let's all just separate and go to therapy. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend I don't want an open relationship? I, 18 female, and my boyfriend, 19 male, usually have a very mutual and loving relationship, but recently he's been acting a little bit strange with me. His odd behavior started to concern me a little bit, so I eased him into it and eventually asked him what was wrong. He told me that he has been thinking about having an open relationship as he wants to sleep with other people, but doesn't want me to class it as cheating. That is the number one weirdest, but also number two worst, absolutely worst way to propose an open relationship. An open relationship proposal probably goes something like this. Hey babe, I'm not gonna lie. I've been thinking about what it would be like to sleep with other people, but also I don't want to lose you. Would you potentially be interested in an open relationship? Not, I want to sleep with other people, but I also don't want you to call it cheating. I was a little bit lost on what to say and I just ended up giving him a flat no. This broke out into him beginning to yell at me and I started to cry. I can't help it. I just get very scared when yelled and he knows this. Babe, I am by no means a professional at seeing red flags, but goddamn do I got 20/20 vision for this. He said that an open relationship would do him better because he wants to try different things and I get that, but he can try different things with me, right? I have no problem with that. I just don't want him to be sleeping with other people and then coming home to me. I would just feel icky and I said that. He isn't speaking to me now. Ah, yes, because that is the mature way to handle a discussion with your significant other. Hey, I know I just asked you if I could sleep with other people because I don't want to cheat with you and then yelled at you, but I think the way to handle this is by not speaking to you. No shit, you're not the a-hole. Break up with your boyfriend. It's that simple. Update, I've been reading what everyone has commented and it has changed my view completely. I have told him that it's over and he has been living in my house with my parents and my little brother. I've told him if he isn't out by the morning, I will get my dad involved in this whole situation. Hold the fuck on. So you're telling me this man wanted to have an open relationship while you were actively living with your parents? Oh, hey mom. Oh, where's my boyfriend? Oh, he's sleeping with another girl right now, but he'll be back at 7 for dinner. Hey man, if you want to do an open relationship, go for it. If that's what works for your relationship, I'm not shitting on that at all. What I will say is you're not ready for an open relationship if you're living with your girlfriend's parents. What a leech, he doesn't want to be with her. He needs a place to stay. Ooh, that's probably so true. One last update. Last night when I told my boyfriend that I'm kicking him out, he tried putting up a fight about it, but my dad came upstairs and basically said if he's going to act like that, he can get out now. He then proceeded to smoke a spliff and pass out on our sofa. It's the morning now and he's just woken up and I've made him pack his bags. He will be out in the next hour or so. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my girlfriend over her younger sister? I broke up with my girlfriend 5 days ago due to her sister's behavior. Me and my ex have been dating for the last 2 years. During this time, her sister has come on to me multiple times. I'm not completely sure about the amount of times, but it was almost every time I saw her. I have told the sister multiple times to leave me alone and to stop her behavior as I don't do the cheating thing, but that did nothing. I've spoken to my ex about it multiple times. She even caught her sister in the act of trying to lock me in a room with herself. Nothing changed. I've spoken to their parents about it and that the behavior of the youngest daughter is unacceptable, and again, nothing happened. I'm not going to lie and say the sister was ugly. No, she is actually really beautiful, but I am 100% sure I have not led her on or anything. Even when I greeted her, I gave her a side hug every single time. I've never been in a room alone with her or anything. I just kept my distance from her at all costs. I don't have her on Instagram, Facebook. I don't even have her cell phone number. We have never shared a text or phone call. Her family gave me a stupid nickname, the puppy, because I follow my girlfriend around everywhere when we are over at their house. The only reason I follow her is because her sister's behavior seemed to stop when she is around. I've told her that I will stop going over to her parents' house because that is where the problems are and I want no part of it. She didn't like that idea and sulked around the house for weeks because I didn't want to go with her. At no point in time did I tell her she can't go. I just said I wasn't going with her. I relented 5 days ago and went over. We had too much to drink and slept over at the parents' house that night. The morning I woke up with the sister completely naked in bed next to me. I stormed out of the room and down to the kitchen and told her we are done in front of her parents. She was silent for what seemed like minutes and started to break down asking why. All I said was go look in that room, and I stormed out of the house and got in my car. It took less than 2 minutes, then the calls started to come in, not just from her, but her parents as well. I didn't answer any of the calls. When I got home 40 minutes later, I had 108 missed calls from her and her parents and 36 messages, 2 from her parents. The messages from her parents just apologized to me saying they thought I was joking about the sister every time I brought it up and they didn't believe me. All I got from my now ex was sorry and she will handle it and it will never happen again. I shouldn't leave. We can work through this. I'm just done. She has even gotten my family involved and our friend. 90% of everyone is on her side saying I'm overreacting and I'm the a-hole for dumping her. We can sort this out. I sent her a message that she has until this Sunday to get her things out of my house. I'm just done. Surprisingly, she has not sugarcoated anything and explained everything correctly to everyone, but I'm still in the wrong for leaving her. Her parents in their messages are angry at me for hurting their daughter. My family is angry because they love her, and our friends are angry because I refuse to take her back and saying I'm overreacting. 2 years of this crap and I'm overreacting. Am I the a-hole? I do want to point out that OP was being sexually harassed. In a situation where it was the girl being harassed instead of the guy, it would have been handled way different. I think he isn't an a-hole, but I think he also overreacted. If it's the true wake-up call that it seems to be, I do think he should give it another chance as long as like the family is willing to cut out the sister. But I don't think he's an a-hole for just being like, this was my final straw. Because I don't think he should have to deal with her again. You've been sexually harassed for the last 2 years. I don't know what the law is where you live, but what the sister did may reach sexual assault. I can't imagine that taking all your clothes off and climbing into bed with someone without their knowledge or consent is legal. I would look into making a police report immediately before you're the one accused. She sounds mentally unwell in addition to being a criminal. No mentally and emotionally healthy person would rug sweep all of this. It's insanely disrespectful to ignore your distress. Not the a-hole, clear as day. Please have nothing to do with any of these horrible people. Take your police report and look into getting some type of no contact order against the whole unhinged family if they persist in contacting you. My God. If your girlfriend or her parents had walked in while you were still asleep, it would be an entirely different ballgame. You would have been accused of who knows what. The one question I'm going to ask here is, where was the girlfriend in all this? I want to know timelines and specifics too, because that's pretty important. Were they in separate beds and the sister got in there? Were they in the same bed, but then the girlfriend woke up early and then while she was up and about, the other sister hopped into bed naked with her? I don't think he's the a-hole, and the reaction is probably a feeling of betrayal for the partner not backing him up more before the final straw. I think think the disrespect part really got me. If your partner's coming to you for 2 years being like, your sister is making me uncomfortable. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my trans brother to my bachelorette party or bridal shower? I, 26 female, have a sibling, 22 male, that was born with female genitalia and raised as my sister. After a lot of therapy, I have finally grieved the loss of my sister and accepted my brother for who he is and wants to be. The thing that, in my opinion, though, makes this a little weird and has been a part of my therapy is that my brother still looks and dresses more like a tomboyish girl than an actual boy. He has expressed no interest in taking hormones or doing any surgeries. He just buzzed his hair short, shops in the men's section, and gives you the silent treatment for extended periods of time if you ever refer to him as she, her, or his dead name. Well, I'm getting married and will soon be having a bridal shower as well as a bachelorette party. Last week, I was visiting my hometown and went to a family dinner with my dad, sister, and 2 brothers. One born my brother, the other my trans brother. At dinner, I was talking about how excited I was to start planning the bachelorette and bridal shower. My sister asked me who I am going to invite and what kind of party I wanted to do. I said some of my friends as well as her, and then my brother says, what about me? There was this huge awkward silence. Then my other brother, trying to keep peace, was like, aren't bachelorettes just for women? Us 3 will find something fun to do, meaning him, my dad, and trans brother. My trans brother then looked at me and said, what about the bridal shower? And my brother says, also for girls. And I just kind of looked at him and took a sip of water. Then my trans brother proceeded to get up from the table, say he was finished, and go upstairs. We haven't spoken since. Am I really the a-hole here? Isn't this what he wanted? Wouldn't it have been upsetting to him if I did invite him and then he would be like, you're not respecting my gender identity? I need more therapy. I don't know. It's so hard to accept him when he does stuff like this, and I am truly trying my hardest. Another situation where I don't think anyone did anything wrong. The communication factor in this is lacking. Like, if anything, I would call the brother an a-hole for not communicating what they were feeling at the time and just getting up and leaving instead. I went to a wedding where instead of a maid of honor, she had a man of honor. It was her gay brother at the bachelorette party. Like, he was there, he ran it. You don't need to follow the traditions if that's what both the bride wants, as well as in this case, the transgender brother wants. But they need to open up that course of discussion for that to happen. And I think it is okay if the bride only wants like a traditional women-only bachelorette party and bridal shower. And I think then with what the brother decided in terms of changing their gender identity, I would say that OP did nothing wrong here. If anything, I think the a-hole verdict falls on the brother for not communicating how the news of them not being invited to something that they probably always thought they were going to be invited to, how that made them feel. Update, so after seeing a lot of these comments, I called my brother this morning to try to break the silence and see where he was coming from. The first call, he declined, so I texted him saying I wanted to talk about the bachelorette and bridal shower to see where he was coming from, because I know he's upset. No response. I called 2 more times, and on the second time, he answered. Before I could even open my mouth, he starts going into a big speech about how, like I've seen some people saying in the comments, it's 2024, and these events don't have to be gendered anymore, and I'm making an active choice not to include him by saying they're for women only, and that he just wanted to be able to celebrate me, and he's really hurt that I don't want that. Yes, I agree. In 2024, these events don't have to be gendered anymore. But what I will say is this is OP's wedding. If OP wants a more traditional wedding, I think the brother needs to sleep in the bed that he made. Like, hey, you decided you wanted to change your gender, but because of that transformation, that bars you from the traditional wedding that they want to have. If someone wants to live a more traditional life, I don't agree with it. You might not agree with it. Most of the world might not agree with it. But like, if there's a woman out there who's like, I just want to be married to a dude who like is my sole provider and my only purpose is to have his kids and raise his children and take care of the home, who am I to go in there and be like, no, bro, you can't do that. Hey, there's probably some dude out there who also wants that and you're gonna make them super happy. Do I agree with that? No. Would I ever want that for myself or for my sisters? No. But like, okay, then you guys do your thing. I'm just getting from this, like, this person like forcing their beliefs onto OP. Oh no, I'm just not a fan of that. I said it wasn't my intention to hurt him at all, and if he wants to come, I'm not going to bar him from doing that. But I'm also not going to open up the guest list and invite other men like my other brother, dad, etc. because it's my party, and I, for reasons completely unrelated to him, I would like it to be the traditional women's only style. He then asked why I would make an exception for him, but not my other brother. I said, well, my other brother doesn't want to come. He is not interested in a party for girls, but if you are, then just tell me and I will be so happy to invite you. Then he said that's not the reason and hung up on me. I don't know, man. This person just seems like they want to be upset. I'm sorry. I am not transphobic at all. But what I will say is this is just wrong. This woman wants her party to be a traditional women's only style. If you want to come because you used to be a woman and clearly this was important for you, and then for them to put them in a catch-22 catch-22 of like, why can I come and the other brother can't? Oh, well then you don't think I'm a real dude. It's just like, bro, what do you fucking want? Do you want to be treated like an actual dude, or do you want to go to this bachelorette party? Like, this person just wants to be mad at the world. If you're looking for more messy Reddit stories, click the link at the top of the description or the videos popping up on screen right now. The members of our community love these videos, and I'm sure you'll enjoy them too.